Hello everybody, friends, subscribers, YouTubers, beatmakers alike. Welcome to another Ryan video, where today I'll be showing you a little bit about how I do my live sets. So usually my live sets consist of a bunch of stuff, like playing my own beats, throwing effects on them, singing, finger drumming, playing synthesizers. Today I'm just going to be showing you the basics. I'm going to be making future videos on the rest of my live sets, so make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss those. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, welcome to my Ableton live set. So I'm just going to give you a sample of what you might experience at a Ryan live set. Not going to do any singing or finger drumming here, I'm just going to do a sample of what we're going to cover in this video. So here we go. Today I'm just going to go over the basic transition process and my effects chain that I have so that I can like shred this thing live and not have to look at my computer screen. That was like one of the goals that I had, was to not be sitting there looking at my computer screen the whole time. I'm going to assume that you have a fundamental knowledge of how Ableton works. So you're familiar with the clip view and how each track contains a certain amount of clips and you can only play one clip at a time for that track. You know, stuff like that. So check it out. You will see that I have 8 tracks containing about 7 clips each. And on each of those tracks, I have this audio effect rack. What that enables me to do is basically have these effects available to me through these macro knobs, regardless of which column the track that I'm playing is on. So like if I play if I play a track here and then throw stutter effect here, and then later I'm playing a track on track 8, I got the same effects up there. I don't have to worry about like having a centralized effects chain. I can just play the clip, throw the effect on, move on. Or first I'm gonna do a demo of all the different effects that I have here, so check it out. Got my low pass, it's just an EQ8. Got my high pass, it's another EQ8. Got my delay. Then I got some stutter effects. This one's like a pitch down stutter. This one is a regular stutter. And then a reverb. Bit crush, and then like a really aggressive, fast, like 16th note stutter down effect. Whoa, that's crazy. Cool. So, so how do I transition between tracks? I use the SP404 philosophy of DJing. I'll like have a track playing, throw a crazy effect on it, and then move on to my next track. I can do that with reverb, I can do that with the delay, I can do that with the stutter effects if I want to. You know, occasionally I'll do a mix of 2 different tracks like a traditional DJ would, where I'm fading out one track and like throwing a low pass on there while bringing in the low end on a second track. But most of the time, just throwing the delay or the reverb on there, shipping the next track ASAP. So now let's go through the actual effect rack. In this audio effect rack, I have 8 different chains, or 8 different devices. You'll see I have a delay device, one of my stutters, another one of my stutters, another stutter, my redux, which is just the bit crush effect, high pass, and my low pass. Something interesting to note when you're doing this is that you need to be aware of what order these effects are going. Like for me personally, I have my low pass and high pass at the end of my chain so that if I throw on any delays, I know that my high pass and low pass will be applied to those delays. Cool, so let's go through each one. Let's start with the most simple effects, which are my stutters. Just have a beat repeat Ableton device. If I trigger it, what it does is it just enables the device. So this little on-off icon is mapped to this macro. If you've never mapped a macro, you can click this map button. So I right click on the thing that I want to map to a macro, and then I just click map to macro 1 or macro 2 or whatever. I have my macros named, so that's why they're showing up like this. And then when you trigger that macro, it'll turn that device on and on. For stuff like high pass and low pass, I'm mapping to a certain parameter so that when I turn it up, it'll sweep up like this. Something interesting about how the high pass and low pass work is you'll notice when I turn up my low pass, the macro is actually increasing, but the parameter is decreasing. So I did that so that I never have to worry about which direction a macro goes. I can just always crank it up and know that it's going to apply the effect. And that is done through when you're in macro map mode, you get these like minimum and maximum values. So you'll notice for my low pass, my minimum is actually at the highest value, which is 22 kilohertz. My lowest is at 10 hertz. So that allows it to be, to apply the effect even when I'm just turning it in the same direction as another effect that like has it mapped differently. Finally, we have my delay and reverb chains. You'll see here that I have my delay device. And what this is an effects rack inside of the like master effects rack for that channel. And you'll see in here I have 3 different chains. So the first chain is just a totally dry chain that sends the dry signal all the way through. And then I have a chain for my delay here. Here's my echo. And then I have a chain for my reverb, which is right here. I essentially am creating like a send, two send chains for my delay and reverb within this track. In my delay chain, for example, I have my echo set to 100% wet. And then I have this utility back here, which actually controls how much of the signal goes into that chain. And then that's mapped to a macro. So normally this chain up here is always sending audio through. And then here, if I turn up the macro for, it moved. If I turn up the macro for my delay effect here, you'll see that the gain goes from -infinity to 0. And when the effect is all the way up, it's sending audio 100% through both the totally dry chain and then the totally wet chain. Same thing with my reverb essentially. And I combine all these different effects to be able to transition between my tracks and throw effects on them live and just have a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the basic process there. All right, hope you enjoyed those tips. I'll be making future videos on the rest of my live sets, so make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss those. You know what? If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Why not? It's right there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you later.